Can I have 2 minutes, my lord? Can I have 2 minutes before that?
Yes.
Because this is happening, my lord, every time. He starts with something totally new thing. My lord, total.
No, he has said that he has already furnished you to the copy of the CCTV footage.
I'm not on, my lord. I'm not on CCTV. I'm
No.
slightly on a different point.
Hmm.
In the entire country, total 22.9 lakh students appeared.
Hmm.
So far as, my lord, your lordships are concerned, my lords are concerned with not Indore. Indore has 49 examination centers. Correct, my lord? 49
Yes.
examination centers out of total 5,466. Nationwide, it is 45466 centers. Indore has 49 centers. Out of 49 centers, only 18 centers there was light disturbance means there was no electricity. The total number of candidates not in Indore are 27,264 candidates. I hope, Lord, I'm able to make myself clear.
Hmm.
Out of which, my lord, 75 are before your lordship. We do not know, my lord, which center, my lord, this CCTV belongs. We do not know, my lord, what is the position, whether it is belonging to any particular center or somewhere or whatever. Lord, what we did was taking it not as an adversarial litigation. Lord, we constituted a committee of 3 neutral experts. And I would wish to show to your lordships, my lord, the result which they have got. That out of, my lord, one interesting fact your lordships would notice, my lord, that 11 candidates from these affected centers have scored more than 600 marks, Lord, which is top 100. Lord, the total people, Lord, students who have scored nationally more than 600 are 1300, out of which 11 are from affected students. Number one. Number two, the average of entire Indore, where there was, not including schools where there was no electricity or there was electricity, out of, my lord, 109, out of total 170 questions, the average is 119 to 127 questions attempted. That average has remained constant. Lord, so Lord, we will give, my lord, those figures to look at, my lord, some CCTV from somewhere and arrive at a conclusion would not be, my lord, would be a little hazardous. That's what I'm saying. So let him argue on the facts first, on affidavits. We will also place, my lord, the facts and affidavit to show that what can be the contours on within which, my lord, the court would like to intervene. And thereafter, my lord, of course, it's for your lordships to see the CCTV. But to start with some random CCTV and say that
No,
every,
it is not like that. He has his own anxieties,
no, therefore, Murad, I am not taking it in an
and I'm
adversary.
also not deciding it only on the basis of the CCTV footage.
No, I understand, Murad, but I am not, Murad, taking this as an adversarial manner. But let there be some structured assistance to your lordships.
Yes, of
What
course.
are the facts?
Yes.
What are the number of centers, total centers, affected centers,
Yes, yes.
students? What is the Murad, findings of the committee, etc.
Yes.
That's my, Murad, request.
Sir, my submission is clear. Examination was conducted in Indore for 49 centers.
Hmm.
49 centers में they have mentioned in their reply that there were 24 affected centers. इसमें the statement I have given of the collector का जो statement था, he has also admitted. ये कहना है कि हमने power supply के लिए we have issued the specific guidelines और इसमें फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन होकर उसकी रिपोर्ट भी सबमिट करने के लिए उन्होंने इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए थे और कलेक्टर का जो स्टेटमेंट है ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर डे इज टेलिंग के देयर वाज नो इंस्ट्रक्शन फॉर पावर अरेंजमेंट फर्दर वी विल मैनेज द अरेंजमेंट वी विल आस्क फॉर द फंड आल्सो ये पूरा स्टेटमेंट में आया हो
No, your how many petitions are here right now?
माय मतलब इट्स मोर देन 100 आई थिंक 92 आई हैव फाइल्ड एंड देयर आर अदर पिटीशन
And how many centers are involved?
24 सेंटर्स अब कुछ सेंटर्स में जो बच्चों ने कंप्लेंट किया है पर जो अफेक्टेड सेंटर्स जो इनकी रिपोर्ट में आया दैट इज 24
24 centers.
24 अफेक्टेड सेंटर
It was 24 written earlier,
from Ujjain.
but only
There are
only
6
one.
petitions from Ujjain.
Total
There are 6
18
petitions
are
from
affected.
Ujjain. There are 6 petitioners from Ujjain.
6 petitioner from Ujjain. Ujjain also.
Yeah, they are from two centers.
Averments, my lord, these are all emotive arguments, but there has to be averment. Mr. X, he got this, he is
No,
poor.
he has filed the document manually, then he must have made the averments also.
Lord,
P7.
Even I have some.
If it
WP
is
number
I
one
have
seven
been also.
a 2 to
WP
6
number.
petition can be argued, my lord, it would be difficult.
Mr. Mehta, please refer to this P7 of WP number 17344.
My lord, out of 22 lakh students, if somebody shows one student or 10 students that earlier they had good marks, they gave a second chance, and now there is electricity failure, my lord, may perhaps I'll be able to satisfy, not be a ground for interference in 226. But my learned friend is raising all emotive arguments, not legal submissions. I'll be able to satisfy them. It happens, my lord. Last time, suppose the paper is relatively easy, I might get 572. If this time it is relatively difficult, I might get, my lord, less than that. My lord, for example, out except this 75 student, or let us take 200 students, this, my lord, internet, Google sheet,
Petition, yes,
etc.
yes.
The total number of students are 27,000 in Indore. Correct, my lords? Now, my lord, they have not come before your lordships. They are satisfied with their performance. Now, suppose we were to order a, my lord, fresh examination. The fresh examination paper might be difficult for them also. So, we will be compelling them to appear in a second examination, though they are happy with that, and I will be able to show that with documents. I can bacche is, my lord, I am also my lord, father, my lord, we also have sympathy, and I am not taking it adversary. But ultimately, you will have to bring your prayer within the domain of Article 226.
Yes, anything else? Anyone? Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So one thing, learned PhD has saying that out of 27,000, 11 has performed so well that they have scored more than 600. That is not 0.5% of the total student. And on the legal aspects, if sir is concerning that, it is nowhere in the provisions of any law or constitution has been said that all the 27,000 has to file the petition. Only then the re-examination can be conducted.
Huh?
तो उसमें इंटरव्यूनर जो है उनका भी केवल सबमिशन ये है कि दे आर नॉट दे डू नॉट वांट टू रिकंडक्ट द एग्जामिनेशन, तो उनका एग्जामिनेशन अच्छा गया तो या नेक्स्ट उनको ऐसा नहीं है कि उनका रिजल्ट जो है डिक्लेयर हुआ तो उसके पहले उन्होंने ये बोला था एग्जामिनेशन जो है कंडक्ट नहीं होना चाहिए,
Could attend.
देयर आर सर्टेन अदर रीजंस के नेक्स्ट ईयर उनको अटेम्प्ट करना है। वो फैक्ट अलग थे सर, that was a different altogether.
No, there also this destruction of electricity was
There were rain and wind also. There are three things which were there in God.
And the strong rain and
Outage of light.
the entire climate was cloudy. Darkness was there actually. और वहाँ पे
They have worked it saying that there were windows and
they were relying upon initially. When
Just
they
let them
give
complete.
them,
Let them
now they
complete.
say that it will not be available.
Let them complete. Yeah.
Regarding the I think there's something from the
Thirty.
So one last something. इसलिए वो नहीं
So one more submission is there. ये मौसम जो खराब हुआ था, that was not sudden. There was already advisory issued by the meteorological department. That was totally ignored. इतने बड़े लेवल पे इतने weather forecast was there. Secondly, जो weather forecast नो बैकअप वाज, जहाँ पे भी बैकअप नहीं है वहाँ पे इन्होंने मेंशन कर दिया कि नेचुरल लाइट वाज अवेलेबल, मौसम मतलब द क्लाइमेट वाज टोटली क्लाउड।
एंड सर जो ये बार बार एक सबमिशन दे रहे हैं कि बहुत सारे बच्चे नहीं आए, मेरी खुद की नीस जब पेपर खराब हुआ था तो उन्होंने ड्रॉप लेके भी वापस से जो कोर्सेज हैं अडॉप्ट कर लिए थे, इसलिए उन्होंने रिट पिटीशन फाइल नहीं करी। दैट डजंट
काफी
मैटर,
सारे स्टूडेंट्स,
अच्छा गया रिट पिटीशन।
काफी सारे स्टूडेंट्स ने इरेगुलरिटीज और मिसमैनेजमेंट की वजह से करियर ही चेंज करा है सर लास्ट ईयर, मतलब जो अभी मेरे टच में है साइकोलॉजी में चले गए बच्चे।
It is not study. It Mano permit them to, for example, hypothetically think there is a re-exam. So it is not that the re-exam will be easier for a student to give. It's hypothetically it is, the re-exam is become tougher because every student who prepared from last 1 year, if he suppose he has to give a re-exam within a month or within 2 months, it will be more difficult for him. So it is not that it is unfair or fair. The student are suffering either way. But that's why we are before Maro, this is what it happens. That they were prepared for one last year and what they have faced.
डिक्लेयर कर दिया पिटीशन हमने 16/5 को फाइल कर दी थी।
चलिए ठीक है, देखिए। यस मिस्टर मेहता।
Please, sir. Lord, I am conversant with my lord the concerns of my lord the students, and therefore I am not taking my lord any adversarial view. But at the same time, my lord, it is our responsibility to place the correct facts and the consequence if the petition is to be entertained. Lord, please have some facts, my lord, so that your lordships can have a holistic picture and take, my lord, can arrive at a correct decision. My lord, the total number of students which, my lord, National Testing Agency deals with in this examination is 22.09 lakhs. So kindly, my lord, write down certain facts, my lord, which may assist the court in arriving at a correct conclusion.
Yes.
My lord, we are now in this petitions concerned with Indore. My lord, I was not aware about 2 centers in Ujjain, but the total number of candidates with which we are concerned in Indore, not the petitioners, but total Indore candidates are 27,264. Correct, Manoj?
Yes.
Now, this 27,000 odd candidates were to appear in 49 centers.
Okay.
Lord, I may request my learned friend Mr. Rupesh Kumar to give a one pager so that your lordship may not have to write down.
Yeah.
I have, my lord, this on the, and I'll share it with all my friends on the other side.
Yes.
Your lordship gets my lord.
Yes.
Now, my lord, there are total 49 centers. This is not a fact in dispute. Now, my lord, please see, in 10 centers there was no power outage. So everything goes smoothly. Then 19 centers, though there was a power outage, but there was a DG set backup, and therefore, my lord, nothing happened. It, my lord, the lights were on and everything went on smoothly. My lord, 19 centers, power outage, but enough natural light and DG backup. In some, my lord, rooms there was a DG backup. Otherwise, there was a natural light, which I will, my lord, substantiate. How I say that there was a natural light and they could attempt the papers, I'll be able to substantiate. Then power outage of 10 to 15 minutes, but sufficient natural light. So there was not a complete power outage, my lord, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. The total duration is 3 hours examination. Now, power outage for 1 hour, but sufficient natural light is 18. These are the affected people. There may be some 12, 10 minutes power outage, etc. It did not affect the examination and the performance I'll be able to show. But these are the 18 centers where there was a power outage for 1 hour, but there was a sufficient outage, sufficient natural light. This question paper, there is very, very crucial point. This question paper contains, your lordships may now may not read, or I may go along with your lordships on this. Now, kindly come to 3.1. As per statistical analysis carried out by experts, average number of questions attempted by candidates at each center, your lordships may note affected center, each means each affected center,
Okay.
are almost the same ranging from 119 to 127 questions. So pause here for a minute. It is not mentioned, but I am not making a statement which would not be disputed.
How many questions were there?
Yes, exactly. That I was going to say that.
180.
180. 180. But the crucial and important part which we must assist your lordship is that there is a negative marking. Your lordships are aware about negative marking. If I give a wrong answer, my right answer also gets cut. So we are always miser, my lord, unless and until we are sure that my answer is right. We do not attempt that question with a view of to avoid negative marking. So this 119 to 127 is not an average attempt by students from each of the affected 18 centers. But now more important part is those centers which were not affected. Either there was no outage of light or there was DG set available. This number remains constant, 119 to 127. It's not as if in the affected centers, the questions which were attempted were significantly less. Maybe 2 or 5 questions here or there. Now, my lord, one more fact, my lord, I must, at the outset, I should have said this. Lord, one of the candidate from Indore Center who attempted his or her question, I'm not aware of whether it's a daughter or a son, but she is All India number 2. She's a topper from affected center. But that be that as it may. I'll proceed further. Now, my lord, on analysis of marks obtained by all candidates from affected centers, that is 18, 11 have scored above 600 marks and are considered toppers in NET UG of 2025. They're toppers, my lord. They have crossed 600 marks out of 720. And the total number of, my lord, such students are 1300. All India. In all India, 1300 students have crossed 600 marks, out of which 11 are from these 18 affected centers. Now, Lord, analysis of OMR sheets of petitioners reveal that petitioners have marked considerably good number of questions in the OMR sheet. Some have attempted more than 170 number of questions out of total 180 questions. My lord, I would request my learned friend, Mr. Rupesh Kumar, my lord, to show one MRA, my lord, this OMR sheet. My lord, just to show that there was nothing turns up, my lord, on the merits of the answers given, but please have a look at the OMR sheet. My lord, if I am a student and I am getting this is my lord, answer sheet. My lord, your lordships and me, my lord, possibly your lordships are much younger to me. But we used to get a blank answer sheet and we used to write Lord, our answers. But now in this OMR sheet, these are all multiple choice questions. So question number 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I feel that 3 is the correct answer, I will darken it. Lord, the darkening pattern is also, my lord, suggestive of the fact that it's not, my lord, darkening in a dark environment. It's very well properly darkened choices which they have, my lord, adopted. Now, my lord, kindly come to my note, my lord, Roman 4.
Yes.
All the classrooms of all centers were of good schools in Indore, which had large windows and were very well ventilated. Examination was conducted from 2 to 5, so cannot be pitch dark. Now, my lord, answers have been accurately marked and placed in the circles or bubble earmark. My lord, there was no smudging. If we, my lord, try to do this in a small circle during, my lord, when there is a darkness, then we are bound to go out of that circle, my lord, which has not happened. Now, my lord, kindly see, before I take your lordships to this, Lord, what we did was that there were two categories of students. Lord, out of 27,000 students, some 75 plus had come before your lordships and had the problem that we could not attempt the papers because of the light outage, etc. As against that, we have maximum number of students, my lord, who did not come, and some students who came and said that we have performed well. There was a light outage, but there was no light outage of such an extent that we could not answer our questions, and therefore, please don't interfere. Having, my lord, two sides before us, the National Testing Agency, but what we did was that let neutral people who are experts in the subject take a call based upon, my lord, their analysis. And if your lordships can please come to, my lord, the report of the experts and who the reports are, or who, my lord, the experts are. My lord, please have a look at first the experts, my lord. They are completely independent, against whom, my lord, no allegations are made except saying that they were appointed by us. But please come to page 67 of my reply. I dated 19th June.
This is the serial number in ERP.
But it is in writ petition 17344.
5/26/2020.
This is 1.344.
It's 19th June. My lord, thereafter, my lord, I had given
Serial number.
copy.
Serial number.
31.
This copy is given to all my learned friends on the other side, and this is treated as, my lord, the main reply. On the top of right hand side, my lord, it is
Just
mentioned.
hold on a minute. Just hold on. Let it load.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes. Page number.
67.
67. 57.
Yes, but just, my lord, who the members are. My lord, my learned friend, my lord, had some that they are our people, etc. My lord, I'm just showing that they're neutral people. My lord. We have appointed, obviously, only we can appoint Professor Neeraj Joshi, member, Department of Mathematics, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Light, your lordship gets, my lord?
Page number 57.
67, my lord. 67.
67. No.
67, my lord.
67. Yes, Professor Neeraj Joshi.
Neeraj Joshi, Department of Mathematics, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Then another is Professor Chandrabhan Yadav, member, Department of Statistics, University of Delhi. Then Professor Girish Chandra, Department of Statistics, University of Delhi. No, nobody may not connected with us, but they are in neutral experts. But I may not take your lordships to the examination, or rather, my lord, the procedure they have followed. But please come to page 57 now. It's an elaborate report.
Yes.
The title is Statistical Analysis of Number of Questions Attempted by the Candidates between Centers Affected and Unaffected by Power Outrage in Indore and Centers of an Unaffected Neighboring City. Not only Indore, because 49 total, 18 affected. Then they have, the background is given. Group 1 is non-affected, group 2 is affected. They have, my lord, taken all the figures from us, and thereafter, my lord, if your lordships can come to the conclusion directly at page 66.
Yes.
Interpretation. In first interpretation, then conclusion. In all comparisons, the p-values exceed 0.01. Therefore, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. This implies no statistically significant difference in the number of questions attempted between affected and unaffected centers of Indore R and a neighboring city. As it is evident from the analysis, with 99% confidence within bracket at the 1% level of significance, there is no evidence to suggest that power outrage at the centers has any significant adverse impact on candidates' performance as measured by the number of questions attempted. Hence, there is no significant difference between the average performance of the candidates who appeared at the affected and non-affected centers. We have also plotted the following bar diagram indicating the center-wise average number of responses in affected and unaffected centers in Indore, along with a neighboring city. This clearly indicates that there are cases of affected centers where candidates have attempted more number of questions than those centers which are unaffected. Hence, it is evident from the analysis that with 99% confidence, there is no significant difference between performance of the candidates who appeared at the affected and non-affected centers. The same holds in a comparative analysis with a neighboring city, which also had no thunderstorm. Thus, it can be safely concluded that there is no adverse impact of the power outage of the performance of candidates in the power affected center. But if there is no light or there is no enough light or sufficient light, the first indication would be the attempt would be minimum. Attempted questions would be minimum. The second would be the broader result. And I have pointed out already that the broader result is that large number of students have crossed 600. One student is second in the at an all India level, and this is the average everywhere. So there was a problem, we cannot be in a denial mode, but either there was a backup, there was a power outage only for some time, and third, when there was a power outage for 1 hour out of 3 hours, there was sufficient light, and they concluded. Now, what would happen if the prayer of the petitioner is to be granted? The difficulty would be, your lordships are aware, the level of difficulty of one question paper is always different from the level of difficulty of another question paper. I appear, suppose in a question paper of chemistry today, and the same subject, if I appear in a new question paper tomorrow, the level of difficulty would be different. This issue came to be examined by the Honorable Supreme Court, in a very recent judgment. And I'll assist your lordships with that judgment, where it is at page. It's not annexed. I'll request Mr. Rupesh Kumar to hand it over. It was a question where can it be done in 2 shifts, considering the number of students? Court said no, it cannot be.
So what was the reasoning assigned?
Your lordships have this judgment in Aditi, I'll just take your lordships. Para 5. At present, your lordship gets one.
Yes.
At present, we are examining only the question of holding the examination in 2 shifts or in a single shift as prayed for by the petitioners. This court on 5th of May 25 issued notice in the present petition and required respondents to file, that is us, to file their response. The response has been filed, and primarily 2 grounds have been taken in support of holding the examination in 2 shifts. First, that the number of candidates who would appear in the said examination are too large. We wanted 2 shifts, making it difficult for the examining body to identify sufficient number of secure centers to hold the examination in 1 shift. And the second is that if the examination is held in 1 shift, unscrupulous elements may got involved and there could be malpractice. Further, another contention vehemently urged on behalf of respondent is that even if the examining body makes an effort to identify more secure centers, it would take time, which may result in delaying the holding of the examination as per schedule, etc. Kindly come to 8. This contention also deserves to be rejected, as there is still enough time for the examining body. We find that total number of candidates who have applied this year for NEET PG examination is 242,000. The examination will be held all over the country and not in one state. We are not ready to accept that in the entire country, considering the technological advancement we have achieved, the examining body cannot find sufficient number of centers. In this regard, we may also note that the examining body has collected hefty examination fee, etc., etc. Now, my lord, 10. 10 is very, very relevant for the present purpose. Holding the examination in two shifts would invariably enable arbitrariness and would not entail at par evaluation of the comparative merit of candidates who take the examination. No two question papers can ever be said to be at an identical level of difficulty or ease. There is bound to be a variation. Normalization may be applied and adopted in exceptional circumstances, but not in a routine manner year after year, especially when the number of candidates is not unduly large, as is the case presently. Rest is irrelevant, Manoj. When we said that we would have two shifts, God said you cannot, because there would be two question papers having different level of difficulty. Now, Manoj, kindly appreciate, Manoj, 75 students, or I take my learned colleague, Manoj, my learned friend on the other side, 200 students. They say that they face some difficulty because of this. And your lordships were to direct re-examination. Lord, then 27,000 students would be sitting in the examination without their wish, desire, or consent, having a different level of difficulty of the question paper. That is the major, my lord, issue which arises in all such examinations. And therefore, my lord, in recent judgment which I have quoted in my, my lord, Madras High Court, my lord, has rejected in this very examination, my lord, a similar prayer. Lord, Madras High Court hasn't, Lord, it's not a binding precedent. It only has a persuasive value, my lord. It assists the court. I'm conscious. I'm not, my lord, citing it as a binding precedent. In this very, my lord, reply, please come to page 11.
Page 11. Start from para 20.
Para 22 minutes. Para 2. That the Honorable High Court of Judicature at Madras had rejected the contention made by the candidates at NEET UG 2025 in writ petition so and so. Now, I may read with your lordship's permission.
Yes.
When the National Testing Agency, after thorough investigation, had arrived at the above conclusion, though such conclusion was disputed by the petitioners, this court has found no grounds to deviate from the above conclusion, as there is no malice pleaded against National Testing Agency. Therefore, when the authority themselves, after field verification and with scientific method, method means the method adopted by the committee, which I have shown, had arrived at a reasonable conclusion that there are no grounds for re-examination, the same needs to be accepted unless the said report is tainted with malafides. In the instant case, I do not find any malafides on part of the respondents. Furthermore, all over India, there were about 22 lakh students have participated in NEET UG 25 examination. In such view of the matter, if any re-examination is permitted on trivial grounds, the same would seriously affect the level playing field of more than 2 million candidates. Hence, this court does not find any merit in these writ petitions. Because then, my lord, we do not know whether the new 27,000 candidates of Indore who are not consenting or agreeing for a re-examination would get the similar level of difficulty in question paper as compared to the remaining 22 lakhs. That's one of the very major factor which generally weighs with the court. So, in my respectful submission, without taking any adversarial approach, we appointed a committee and we said that you examine everything and try and find out whether there was any impact on the performance of the student. My performance may be in two parts. Because of my inability to answer the question, because of my lack of hard work, that is my lack of performance. And second, the physical performance, because there was less light or there was some other problem. They say that there was no problem which would have affected their performance. One of the candidates who is a petitioner is scoring good marks, my lord. I can't disclose, but many of the candidates have scored good marks because you know, their results are not officially declared. I cannot say. But even they have scored very good marks. But out of my lord, just my lord, fear which every student would have and would have the my lord, kind of wish that we can still do better if we get another question paper. Well, they are before your lordships and they are our children. My lord, we must take their issue seriously. But we as an agency, my lord, cannot forget the rest of the 27,000 students who are not before the court and they're happy with their performance. Otherwise, what would happen, my lord? The girl, my lord, who is a topper, now if she appears in the fresh examination, which she will have to, well, she might go down. There are people, my lord, 11 people who are in the toppers list, crossing 600. They will have to give examination once again. So, my lord, they are not before your lordships. So, my lord, my respectful submission is that considering the limited scope within which your lordships would examine these issues, but once there is a committee against whom there are no malice alleged, and they have found, you know, they have adopted scientific methodical examination of the entire issue and have come to a very, very